Everyone here has heard the expression that America's a melting pot, right? We've all heard that expression. America's a melting pot. Well, we're actually not a melting pot anymore, and we're never going to be a melting pot again. We're now a salad bowl. Let me explain. America is a melting pot is an expression that was coined in the early 1900s to describe what was happening to the United States relative to immigration. We had a huge wave of immigrants from all over the world, but particularly from Europe. Ireland, Italy, Poland, Germany. Many of your ancestors and mine came through Ellis Island, got processed as new arrivals, and the idea was that no matter who you were, where you were from, we threw you into one pot, we simmered away the differences, and everybody kind of came out the same, Americanized. Well, today, most organizations, business, and society in general recognize that diversity is a progressive mindset. We don't all have to look the same, be the same, dress the same, or come from the same backgrounds, especially to contribute to work. So when you look at a salad, there's not one single element of a salad that can be mistaken for anything else. The tomato does not look like the radish does not look like the cucumber does not look like avocado. Every element of a salad is distinctive and can be seen for what it is. And most of us would agree that the more and different stuff you put into a salad, the better the salad gets. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you. All right. Now, 1 in 3 people in the United States is not white. This is why we're talking about this. 1 in 3 in the United States is not white. This is a national average. So if you were looking at, Texas, California, Florida, New York, etc., you would find that the diversity numbers would be skewed very differently than if you're looking at New Hampshire or Maine, etc. But 1 in 3 is not white. And the census has actually been tracking diversity with what they call the diversity index for a few decades. Let me quickly explain how to read this. The diversity index is very simple. It simply means if I grab any 2 people at random anywhere in the country, what's the likelihood that those 2 people will be of different races or ethnicities? So, back in 1980, if I grabbed any 2 people at random anywhere in the US, I had a 34% probability that those 2 people would be of different races or ethnicities. Or in other words, I had a 66% probability that they would be of the same race. Probably white, because white is the predominant race in the United States. But look how fast it's changed. In just 3 decades, we've gone from a 34% probability to a 52% probability. So today, it is statistically more likely that any 2 people selected at random anywhere in the country are actually going to be of different races or ethnicities than the same. This is not a fad, this is a trend. The difference between a fad and a trend is fads come and go, like fashion. Trends don't come and go. Trends are shifts. And once they shift, they rarely shift back. In business, you should never pay attention to fads, but you should always pay attention to trends. You can't catch fads. By the time you're onto them, they're on to the next thing. But trends are absolutely something that is imperative for you to be paying attention to relative to your business. Now, what about multiracial Americans? I talked about 1 in 3 being not white, but 7% of the U.S. population self-identifies as multiracial. So whether it's Tiger Woods, and I probably should have used his mugshot here instead, or Mariah Carey, and just a quick aside, is that not the most Photoshopped picture of Mariah Carey you've ever seen? She doesn't remotely look like that anymore. Anyway, the point is, whether you're Tiger Woods or Mariah Carey, I mean, if the census is asking you what race are you, what box do they check? They're multiracial. If I'm not mistaken, Mariah Carey is black, white, and Hispanic, and Tiger is black, white, and Asian. So the multiracial population may not seem like a lot, but it's 7% of the U.S. population. And the percentage of whites is declining. Not the number of whites, the percentage of whites. The number of any population is not declining. We populate, right? We grow. We populate. So all populations grow in size numerically, but you're numbers people. You understand what I'm talking about here. We're talking about share. White share of the total population has dropped from 69% to 63% in just 10 years.